Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have ourselves a 1v1 on Minsk Pocket. Our heroes today are going to be Quentin, playing as the Soviets in the blue, and his opponent in the red is going to be Mr. Jove, playing as the red OKW. Now, let's talk about our players a little bit while the game gets underway. We got Mr. Jove here, who at the time of casting this currently holds the rank number 6 for his 1v1 OKW play. So, top 10 player right here. And his opponent, Mr. Quentin, also a little bit more commonly known as Field Memory Acceptance in the forums, at least in CoH2.org. He is currently, at the time of casting this, ranked 38th for his Soviet play. So, you know, it's a bit of an uphill battle, but not too much. I mean, still top 100 here, top 50, top 40, so should be a good match. And, yeah, should be good. Should be good. So, let's see what has been going on. So we have, right off the bat, Mr. Quentin going for no tech, like you would expect most Soviet players to do, although, really, nowadays, it's not too expected. A lot of Soviet players have thrown conscripts to the wind and decided not to actually build them. So, you know, maybe not really that common to see nowadays. But he does open up with 3 conscripts. We'll see what he follows that up with. His opponent, Jove, for his part, went for a Tier 1, the Battle Group Headquarters opening, bringing it very high up there, also bringing his Storm Pioneers up to the northern side and walling off, or well, wiring off the compound over here. Thus, you know, cut himself off from this strategic point, but it cuts off Quentin from the right-hand side approach, which is, you know, a little bit more critical for him. He does have munitions there that he can secure a little bit more easily, and he does force the hand of either going for the clearing packages or the what is it called? It's hazard removal. Yeah, hazard removal package to clear them or get vehicles. So far, however, the conscripts did manage to shoot it down because the second wire was not placed, so the flank is open. Center map, we do have conscripts and Volksgrens engaging. Even though he did go for the Battle Group Headquarters, he did get 3 Volksgrenadier squads, and, you know, still hasn't gotten anything from this one. So we'll see what he ends up doing. It's rather high up there, or up into the front, so it'll be an interesting choice. Volks and conscripts engaging in the center, gonna get themselves flanked, at least the Volks will, from another conscript squad. They're trying to run their way back to the battle group headquarters, but they're a little bit too far away. They do have to retreat. They would have risked getting themselves killed. So for the meantime, we have Quentin winning that engagement quite handily, in fact. Storm Pios move a little bit further back. Well, I don't know why I keep saying back. They move to the battle group headquarters because it's not back, it's right there in the center. And get themselves healed up before moving along. The wire up in the north did not get finished, so it looks like Quentin will just continue to push forward. And, not Quentin, Jove continues to push forward and captures the point, while the Storm Pios in the center do force away the 2-man conscript squad. Conscript squads in the center going for the fuel. They're going to get engaged by the Volksgrens, but they're getting flanked by the Storm Pios. The Storm Pios are closing the distance. Conscripts winning the engagement against the Volksgrens right now, but the Storm Pios are right on top of them, so they force a retreat. They don't take too many losses. They are down to 4 men. And no, they don't lose anybody else on the retreat, so they're going to be just fine. So for now, we see that Job is going to push forward to his battle group headquarters and reinforce on the fly, which is an excellent choice for him. And it is, well, one of the primary things of having that up front, right? It's a forward, both reinforcement and healing station for your troops, so it makes it a very difficult position to break. We shall see if he decides to go for the retreat position. You can see an antenna popping out right there on top if it does. But for the meantime, he's going to start laying down some sandbags to reinforce the position and have some heavy cover for his troops. So, Job, very sound-minded, thinking straight. For his part, Quentin decides to go for Tier 1, gets himself a scout car, and is going to pop his combat engineers in there with a flamethrower already equipped, and they're going to start wreaking havoc on those Volksgrens. The Volksgrens do have the ability to upgrade to Shreks, but none of them have Shreks so far, so that scout car is pretty much unopposed right now. We shall see if anything is followed up right now by Job. He does have another half-track on the field, which he can maybe get in the way, but the Soviet scout car is actually very well equipped to take it down and rather quickly. Center map, we do have the big engagement. Conscripts and combat engineers trying to hold the line as we do have the scout car pushing up. Right on time, the Shrek does get popped on a Volksgrenadier squad for Jove, so that keeps the scout car at bay. Decides to just simply pop back a little bit, take some shots at a distance, and move along because he does not want to get that scout car killed. Not just yet. Conscripts do manage to get away, down to 2 men, however. Remember, the conscripts do not have the advantage against Volksgrens at long ranges. So yeah, scout car does come in for a flanking run with its flamethrower, puts itself in the line of sight of that Shrek. The Shrek takes a shot but misses. Actual impacts against that tree. The tree is a strong motherfucker there. Look at that. He actually stood a Shrek to the face and still alive. Wow. So for the meantime, Job holding the center. Scout car staying at a distance, getting some shots off with its 50 cal machine gun on top. Managing to inflict some damage, but not too much. It is, of course, just the scout car. Shock troops now on the field for Quentin. He decides to go for the shock rifle frontline tactics, so we're going to see KV-8s and IS-2s later on. The shock troops get right in the thick of it, getting on top of those Volkswagen squads, trying to clear out the Shrek-equipped squad. Does manage to force the retreat, so the other squads are now in a lot of trouble. The shock troop squad is down to 1 man. Can the Volkswagen squads finish it off on the retreat? They are focusing it down, but do not manage to actually get the kill, and all the troops for Jove are forced to retreat. The conscripts continue to push forward, and the scout car makes its way all the way into the center. We do have the Joannepanzer headquarters getting upgraded into the center for Jove. It is, however, still being produced, taking a lot of damage there to the combat engineers and the half-track. Down it goes, and that is an unfortunate loss there for Jove. Had he finished that a couple seconds earlier, he would have been in prime position and being able to hold the center successfully. Volksgren squads are trying to hold the line here as the scout car is just harassing them. They are down to 2 men in range to reinforce. They get reinforced, but they don't have a Shrek, so the scout car is pretty much unopposed right now. The battle group headquarters does manage to provide some cover as it does break line of sight and shot blocks them. So the Volksgrens are able to reinforce on the run. However, the scout car is pretty much, well, it's just having fun right now since there's nobody nearby to oppose it. The Volksgrens will probably be getting upgraded with a Shrek. We see that Joe does not have any munitions right now, which means he popped a Shrek upgrade recently. But we'll see if it's this squad or if he's going to be doing it on another one. I would assume it's this one since it's the one out on the field. He is playing ring around the battle group headquarters and getting upgraded at the same time, and reinforced at the same time, so one can only assume. Second Volkswagen squad moves in, gets itself battered, but the Shrek finally gets upgraded and one-shots the scout car, eliminating the combat engineers on side, which is a, well, unfortunate loss there for Mr. Quentin. But, well, they knew the risk. They were strong and brave, but unfortunately they ended up dying. So we see that Job has selected his own doctrine as well. He goes for the Luftwaffe ground forces doctrine and gets himself some NG-34s. He wants to be able to hold those lines. He is getting overrun by those conscripts and does not like it. More shock troops on the field. Second squad getting called in. And we see that currently Quentin is just actually laying down mines around the place and starting to recapture territory. While up in the far north, we have bulk for Job going to cap behind the lines. We also see that Fallschirmjägers have been called onto the field for Job. Duking it out with a shock troop squad 2-on-2 right now. The shock troops do throw a grenade on top of the Fallschirmjägers that retreat straight into the nade and get themselves killed. An unfortunate loss there for Mr. Job. So that sets him back quite significantly. Does move up further up with his MG-34, sets himself up in the heavy sandbags there, but ends up, I don't know why I call them heavy. It's a heavy machine gun, but the sandbags, but ends up pushing forward, being used to cap, which is the wonders of Company Heroes 2, right? That you can just sit in the spot and cap automatically. Combat Engineer Squad on the right-hand side, forced away. Left-hand side, we have the Volksgren Squad getting pinned. Well, not pinned, but sandwiched there between conscripts and shock troops. A little bit of a manwich there, but they make it out alive just fine. So yeah, it looks like Job is not interested in getting the retreat point upgraded at all for his battle group headquarters. And again, in the higher levels of play, it's something that you see being done quite often. Excuse me. I've seen the battle group headquarters set up a little bit further up, but not that far forward and not be a retreat position. So it is quite ballsy there of Job, but of course it does, like I said, provide him a very strong point. So as long as he keeps control of his troops and not be forced to retreat, he can just keep backing off, getting healed and reinforced. Conscripts Ura forward, get themselves past the MG34. The MG34 does turn its sights on the conscript squad, manages to get them suppressed right at the end. The shock troops do throw a smoke grenade right on top of the MG34, getting on top of it and doing a lot of damage. However, there are Volkskrins nearby to provide support. One squad down to one man. Probably going to have to retreat. It's a very risky maneuver. It looks like he's going to be able to pull it off. MG34 sets itself up right against the battle group headquarters, opens up on the approaching shock troops and gets some of them killed. Gets them suppressed, and they're going to have to retreat. An unfortunate trick, however, by the Volkskrins squads eliminates the heavy cover that they set up just recently, and that, well, unfortunately means he has to build it again. Thankfully, though, doesn't cost you anything, so it just takes time. Another half-track on the field. Job sets it up to the right-hand side, and, well, it, Sorry about that. Not sure if that comes through, but yeah. Well, anyways, he's now setting up the Juer Panzer headquarters on the right-hand side. He decides he no longer wants it in the center, so he's going to cover the right-hand side approach. Shock troops once again popping smoke to break line of sight on that MG34. However, it is being surrounded by two Volkskrins squads, and well, there it goes. MG34 manages to get some shots off through the smoke. The smoke is clearing now, so the shock troops are in a lot of trouble. They did manage to inflict a lot of damage there on the Volkskrin squad. However, they are now in the losing end of the fight. They are forced to retreat, and away they go. Up from the north end through the center, we see two conscript squads penetrating the lines. The MG34 is not set up to stop them. A Shrek flies from the Volkskrin squad and nails one of the conscripts. Quite an unfortunate end to that man. His entrails split all over the battleground. But he does manage to push him back a little bit. Tier 3 now up for Mr. Quentin. He starts building himself a T-34. And at the same time, with the Juer Panzer headquarters on the field, we see that Job is going for a Lux. But, well, T-34 on the field against the Lux, that's not going to end well. However, the Lux is quite maneuverable, so it should be fine. Scout car now getting salvaged there by the Volkskrins. It is one of the benefits of the Luftwaffe ground forces doctrine. It does give you the scavenge ability there. Volkskrins pushing up in force at distance, and three of them together, they will just rinse through these conscript squads. The conscript squads at distance are at a major disadvantage here, so they're going to have to retreat. The shock troops, of course, are close range. They need to close that distance. And the Lux is now on the field. The Lux is going to be pushing forward for Job. However, we now have the T-34 on the field for Quentin. And, well, two Shreks. Those are a threat, and the T-34 is not magnificent against infantry. It does a decent job, but it's, you know, it's no Lutz or anything like that. Does go for the crush here on the infantry. Pushes the Volkskrins right on top. Oh, goes for the crush. One of them down to one man. Forced to retreat. Can he actually make it out? He looks like he's going to be able to make it out, although the T-34 takes a shot and misses. Second Volkskrin squad is also forced to retreat, leaving the Lux by itself. We do see a Raketenwerfer getting built for Jove, but the Lux is in a very bad position now. It's going to get chased down by the T-34, and there is nothing it can do about it. It's going to try to lead the T-34 to the Juer Panzer headquarters to try to stop it. We see an incendiary artillery barrage by Quentin right on top of something. Right on top of the MG34. The Lux puts itself right next to the Juer Panzer headquarters, getting some shots off on the rear armor of the T-34, but the Lux is done for. The T-34 has it in its sights, has it corner, and the Juer Panzer headquarters will not be able to provide enough damage in time to stop it. The Raketenwerfer is on the field. It's coming out right now. There it goes. But it is far, far away from that T-34, and the T-34, well, it did its job. It's no longer a factor. Another supply half-track on the field. He can build his Mechanized Regiment headquarters, but of course, well, we'll see if he does. MG34 down south, not able to spot the shock troop squad, although the shock troop squad decides to run itself into the arc of fire of the MG34. It is in heavy cover, however, due to those sandbags, and it pops the smoke, breaks the line of sight, and the MG34 crew is getting crushed there by the T-34. T-34 utilizing the smoke grenade to break line of sight to those Volksgrenadiers and the Raketenwerfer. barely makes it out of there alive with a sliver of health, and the shock troops decide to just back off and be cool. MG34 still guarding the flank. It doesn't want anybody pushing through the sights. Volkskrans push up. They are getting protected or covered by another Volkskran squad at a distance. Oh, a nice grenade there by Quentin. He baits him straight into it. The grenade gets tossed right behind the squad. Jove instinctively, as he sees the grenade get tossed, moves back, runs his troops in there, and gets them blown up. 3 of them by 1 grenade. However, squad is alive, battle group headquarters is on the field, and they're just going to get patched up and reinforced, and they'll be just fine. So again, that is, like I said, a very, very strong position. They're very difficult to break. An AT gun could potentially do it from a distance, but it's going to be hard against the MG34s to get that close with your infantry and such. So yeah, I mean, is it vulnerable? Yes, of course it's vulnerable, but it is, again, a strong position. MG34... not guarding its post over on the left-hand side. Now finally setting up. Oh no, it's decrews and sets up once again. The shock troops are pushing forward. They're going to pop another smoke grenade. This is very nice to see in these high-level plays. We see these very often, the shock troops utilizing their smoke grenade. When at the beginning, when the shock troops were, well, not when the shock troops themselves, but you know, at the beginning stages of the game, you very rarely saw the grenade, the smoke grenade getting utilized. Shock troop squad probably not going to make it out of there alive. Getting shot at through all living hell by everything, but no, it actually makes it out. Wow, that's a... Gee, that's a lost opportunity there for Jove. He could have easily target fired? Yeah, target fired the shock troop as he was retreating and probably would have been able to finish him off, but with the conscripts moving up and such, the focus of the squads got changed, and they let the guy run away and make it out alive. KV-8 now on the field for Quentin. That puts him in a very strong position. Yes, we do have 3 Shreks and a Raketen Warfare on the field, but they are all, unfortunately, manned by infantry, which means they can very easily die. But, however, I don't think that Quentin is just simply going to rush his KV-8 straight into the center. He's backing it up with the T-34. T-34 only repaired at about 75% strength, but he is currently distracting the troops in the center. He sees that all the Volkskrans are right there. 4 Volkskran squads with Shreks equipped, but the jov5 headquarters on the right-hand side flank is extremely exposed. We see the flamethrower going off, the Raketen Warfare doing what it can on the rear, holding the line, but down goes the jov5 headquarters as we expected, and the tanks just simply back off, and they actually are even being followed by a combat engineer squad that can simply go in and repair. The Volkskrans retreat back to their battle group headquarters, get reinforced and they repair. You know, that's what doctors do. They repair people. They're like mechanics, just for the living, right? So conscripts on the left-hand side, they run, or the MG34 runs into them and, well, has to back off a little bit. Why it was going in that direction, I don't know, but and for now, we see the T-34 just roaming around in the center. Gonna get some shots off at a distance against those Volkskrans. Misses completely, even though there is a ridiculous number of infantry right here. You could almost call it a blob, but I don't think it's intended. I mean, they were all right there reinforcing. So, but yeah, whatever. I mean, if you want to, you can call it that. One of the Volkskran squad actually has veterancy 5. That is actually quite impressive. What do I get? Let's see. Squad survivability within combat, increases accuracy and weapon control under fire. Fieldcraft and training enables the squad to heal themselves over time when out of combat. At 3, at 4, it's increased field awareness and weapon accuracy. And then drastically increases squad survivability. So yeah, a veterancy 5 one is really tough to take down. Okay, nice to know. MG34 doing a lot of work there in the center, getting a lot of squads suppressed. We see an incendiary barrage getting called right on top of all the troops. The Volkskrans are forced to back off. Incendiary rounds land. One of the Volkskran squads down to 1 man, getting targeted by the T-34. Shot flies from the T-34, but no, it actually doesn't shoot its main weapon. It instead shoots it at the MG34, killing one of its members, but they make it out of there alive just fine. Another Raketen Warfare getting built by Jove. He's going to be trying to cover his angles a little bit more. The KV-8 is now fully repaired for Quentin and back in working order. The combat engineers will be working on the T-34 now. They got brought down to about 25% strength, maybe 20, but yeah. Shock troops pushing again into the center. Once again, MG34s will probably be nullified there by smoke grenades, although the shock troops decide to just simply back off a little bit. Conscripts as well. They're going to keep their distance and just let the shock troops right there at the edge capture the point. And the victory points are 224 for Quentin, while Jov is sitting pretty at 495. I mean, he does control the center point and the right-hand side point most of the time, so he has gotten the benefit or the privilege of being able to do that. MG34 using its armor-piercing incendiary rounds, hitting the KV-8 straight on, actually inflicting a significant amount of damage. I mean, didn't do it on its own, but all in all, it did get brought down to about half health, so it does force the KV-8 to back off, while the combat engineers are still working on that T-34 and only have it now at about half health. So Quentin could do with using both of his combat engineers to do that. I mean, he did build another one specifically to do that, and he is going to be doing that right now. So yeah, smart man decides, you know what, I need to get those tanks up and working in a timely fashion, so we're going to make sure that that happens. Jagdpanzer getting called onto the field for Jov. That is an interesting choice. Jagdpanzers not very favored. You don't see a lot of people calling these in. I mean, I like them. They remind me of the, what are they called? The Hetzers? But yeah, I mean, it's essentially an assault weapon, and it specializes against tanks, and you don't always have to go for the heavier things. So I like that choice. It gives it more versatility, I suppose. Storm piles on the left. Oh, sorry about that. I need a little bit of oxygen. Wow. Stop it. I recline in my chair, and I shouldn't have done that. I think I relaxed a little bit too much. Anyways, storm piles on the left-hand side getting pushed away. We got conscripts and shock troops recapturing territory. Center map, the Jagdpanzer is just sitting there. It does have prioritized vehicles currently enabled, which is pretty much what it should do. This type of tank doesn't really have too much to contribute into an infantry engagement. Much like an Su-85, yeah, it'll probably hit something eventually, but most of the time you would prefer that it's a little bit focused on the infantry. And generally speaking, I mean, in a situation like this, it's not a bad idea to have it shoot at the infantry at a distance, because it's just additional firepower. But what you don't want is that the tank be turning around to target infantry and, you know, put itself in a bad spot against tanks. So it is understandable that you would want it like that, and yeah, I mean, it probably makes it a little bit better, because it's, again, it's not going to contribute anything worth it, and it'll probably just end up screwing itself. So the Jagdpanzer inflicting sufficient damage there to the KV-8 that it manages to force it away. It's down to about 25% strength, so you can see the power of this tank. It isn't anything to cry about. We see the squads retreating. We do have the retreat engaged for the battle group headquarters. You can see the antenna right there. If you haven't seen it, you can zoom in a little bit closer, and there's the antenna right there. That antenna, the one I'm in right now. That means the retreat spot has been researched, which is interesting, but, you know, not a bad idea. And, yeah, he's going to be able to hold the center more effectively, which is looking like what Joe wants to do. I mean, you can see that he's not sending out troops on capturing runs very frequently. He sometimes spares his storm piles to do that, but that's about it. He is locking down the right-hand side with an MG34 and the Raketen Warfare, just making sure that nothing pokes through there. And then he has his forces clumped up in the center, and he goes for big pushes with Volkskrans equipped with Treks. 2 of them are veteran C5, so difficult to take down, and 2 of them are veteran C2. Ooh, interesting. Trenches also getting built here for Job. An interesting choice. You don't see trenches too often, but, well, I mean, it is an excellent choice. It'll, you know, provide sufficient cover and touch. It's essentially a building. And it's also camouflaged, which is amazing. Can the MG34, let's see, provides protection to infantry, sniper, mortars, and heavy... Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't make sense if it didn't, but, you know, maybe balance purposes may have been moved. But anyways, Volkskrans push through the center. They get incendiary barraged right behind them, cutting them off from their retreat path. Not that they can't retreat, but they'll take damage, and also it forces them to push up a little bit more and get in line to get shot by your troops, which is a wise choice there, a tactical move there. Oh, the veteran C5 squad goes down, so yeah, that incendiary barrage pretty much worth it at this point. It manages to inflict one of those kills. Another squad retreats down to 1 man. Runs through the flames, taking a lot of damage, but makes it out. Second squad, veteran C5, holding the line. And on the right-hand side, another Volkswagen squad getting a lot of damage in there on those conscripts. The veteran C5 Volkswagen squad is very tough to take out, and it's able to withstand the firepower of veteran C3 conscripts quite easily. While a KV-8 moves in through the flank, we do have the Jagdpanzer. The Jagdpanzer has the KV-8 in sight, takes a shot but misses. Well, not misses, it bounces. Let's be fair, it wasn't because he didn't hit it, it's just, it bounced off. Interesting. We see a backtick to tier 2 for Quentin. He decides to go for MG34s. Has one already on the field. 2 of them, in fact. You don't see backticking that often, but yeah, I mean, it's not a bad choice considering what you want. And, well, currently right now, Jove is pushing with a lot of Volkskrans all together, and just with his troops, it's very difficult to stop. So, yeah, he gets himself a couple of machine guns, Maxim machine guns, and he'll be able to hold that quite easily. Trenching. Left-hand side, the KV-8 going for a run. Is he just going for the base? No, okay. I thought he was just going to go for the base and just be kind of an asshole there. But no, so far he's not doing that. Okay, so he's just covering the capturing shock troop squad and seeing if he can spot anything over on the left-hand side that he can potentially pick up. Nothing happening, so there you go. More trenches getting built. Volkskrans being the ones inside the trenches. Incendiary barrage right on top of one of the trenches. We see a Volkskran squad forced to pop out of a trench as the KV-8 comes up behind it and just torches it. Jagdpanzer getting a shot off at that KV-8. KV-8 now takes some damage and is forced to back off. But again, Quentin is able to do sorties into the enemy territory and recapture that victory point in the center. Up in the north, the combat engineer squad is forced to retreat due to that MG34, so they are done for the day. T-34 pushes straight into the center, gets a shot off there on the Jagdpanzer. The Jagdpanzer is currently focused on it, but the T-34 is able to get behind it. MG34 does go down to the shock troops. The Jagdpanzer is turning its sights around. Going to be able to get a shot off on that T-34. No, the T-34 manages to stay alive. No, actually, it did snipe it. Wow. It looked like it was shooting at a different angle, but it did actually shoot at the T-34. T-34 goes down. The KV-8 is pushing forward. The Jagdpanzer proving its worth, although, yeah, the Jagdpanzer didn't get the kill. Yeah. Something else got the kill. Probably the Raketengwerfer. Yeah. IS-2 getting called into the field for Job. Now, that's a problem. Not for Job. For Quentin. Now that's a problem for Job. He's not going to be able to stop that. The KV-8 is in his way. There it goes. So that's what I was thinking. KV-8 was very low in health. The Jagdpanzer decides to just simply push forward and get it killed. And it does go down, but there is an IS-2 on the field. Shreks on the field will be a problem for the IS-2. The Maxim machine guns are getting a lot of damage in there on that trench. The trench currently holding, but with a flamethrower combat engineer squad inside or in front of it, it's going to take a lot of damage. IS-2 moves into the center, taking some shots at the trench holding strong. Jagdpanzer takes a shot at the IS-2, but bounces it off the frontal armor. Jagdpanzer pushes a little bit forward. It is a little bit damaged. It has taken some hits to the T-34. It's down to about 75, maybe 80% strength. Shock troop squad coming in for the flank. The trench is holding strong. Grenade goes off into the trench. The Volkskrans just pop out. The trench takes some damage, and they pop back in as they are able to hold the line inside the trench without getting suppressed or really damaged there too much by the Maxim machine guns. Volkskrans pushing forward. Again, they are a little bit battered there by the Maxim machine guns. The Maxim machine guns doing a lot of work at distance. They are, one of them down to 2 men. The Volkskrans squad in the trench, again getting torched. They are forced to pop out and going to get reinforced. We have another squad behind it. The trench is getting targeted. The Jagdpanzer holding fire, making sure that it can target the IS-2 whenever it pops in. And the Volkskrans are going to pop back into the trench as the trench is just doing work. I mean, the trench is providing a very essential line of defense there for Job. Otherwise, he would be overrun, especially with the IS-2. Maxim machine guns unable to suppress the guys inside the trench. They're able to take damage in there, but, you know, with 4 squads behind it to just relieve whatever is in there, It's a very difficult spot to break. Indirect fire of some type would actually benefit here for Quentin. He does have tier 2. Oh, hell, even a mortar would work. I mean, a mortar at distance could just simply start bombarding there and clearing out and doing work, but maybe it's not worth it, or maybe he doesn't want to do that.
Fresh meat has arrived. The sector is at risk.
IS-2 backs off. Infantry from the center has retreated for Quentin as he decides that the battle is not going his way. Does manage to bring the victory points a little bit down for jov. jov sitting at 436. Damn it. Sorry. But he is down to 144 and is going to be capped again in the center. So while he is doing kind of okay, I mean, he does have a significant force, even on IS-2 and such. He is kind of running out of time. He needs to do something. I mean, he needs to break the center or open the flank on the right, maybe. Would be kind of hard, but I mean, it wouldn't be too hard. I don't know. So for the meantime, jov content with just building more trenches and holding the line. Do trenches cost anything? I would assume no, but maybe it's too good to not. So let me know what it is. I can't actually check right now. I guess I could. Screw it. Let's find out what it goes on. Okay, there you go. So you built no, not this. Stone piles. Build trench. It doesn't say that it costs anything. Resources? No, it doesn't cost anything. Okay, so yeah, that's good. So you can just keep on building those without any problem. There you go. Let's fix that overlay and make sure everything is back in order. So we see jov that is currently building another Yak Panzer, it looks like. Gonna be able to double up on those. Should be hitting the field right now. There it goes. So with those, the IS-2 will have quite a bit of an issue getting in there. However, the AT gun will help out quite a bit. Like I said, the AT gun does have a lot of range. It's able to hit those trenches quite easily, and will pop them. And the Yak Panzer really can't help against the AT gun. So yeah, getting the AT gun, superb choice there for Mr. Quentin. Shot flies, down goes the trench. Can be rebuilt very easily, but again, you do lose guys inside the trench if you do that. It's much like a vehicle, so you have to be careful. Shot flies from the Yak Panzer at range, hitting the IS-2. The IS-2 is pushing forward, very risky maneuver. There are two Yak Tigers on the not Yak Tigers, Yak Panzers on the field. However, one of them is split. Not sure why he's splitting that. Strafing run getting called in on top of everything, getting suppression going on the Maxim machine gun, shock troops, and everything else. And then we also see a drop here of troops and incendiary barrage getting called in right on top of his own troops. It's a very unusual move there for Quentin. Clears out his own Maxim machine gun. And we see that the Fallschirmjägers behind the lines just get battered as they drop into the worst possible scenario. Personally, I would get that combined there with the other one, but that's just me. I mean, jov, of course, is a top 10 player there for his faction, so he is, I'm sure he knows what he's doing and the risks involved. Bolsterins in the center, forced to retreat through the flames. They do make it out because the flames died down, and they'll get reinforced. It looks like Quentin took quite a beating there. He has lost one of his Maxim machine guns. His IS-2 got beaten up severely. He needs to get repaired. One of the combat engineer squads went down. Only has 3 conscripts left, so yeah, I mean, a nasty engagement there. Conscripts pushing into the center. They're trying to hold the line. Left-hand side, the trench is still online. The Yak Panzer is the one getting repaired right now, so no trench has gotten rebuilt just yet for jov on the right-hand side. And his Volksgrens in the center are currently pinned down. The other squad is not going for the flank or anything. There is a shock troop squad just lying there in wait. But it, well, it's just lying there. It's not doing too much. Maxim machine gun did get stolen. Yeah, it's a Maxim machine gun right there. So He should be able to hold that up in the trench, although having the Volkskrans with Tregs in the trenches is also very useful because it allows him to keep the IS-2 at bay, but really, I don't think it's necessary anymore. I think the Maxim machine gun inside one of the trenches would be a superb choice now, because that would also keep the infantry at bay, but, I mean, may not be needing it. Just keeping it out there in front, covering, should be fine. Conscripts getting themselves right on top of a Volkskrans squad. The Volkskrans squad is veteran C5, veteran C3, and the conscripts. One of the squads decides to disengage. Although now it's down position, down to 2 men, does force a retreat, and it is expected. Second IS-2 on the field for Quentin. So with 2, that now again turns the odds in his favor. We see that Jove is getting himself an infantry support gun. It's a superb weapon, very similar to the pack howitzer, which is just awesome, I think. Getting himself a little bit of indirect fire there. Half-track pushing into the center. It doesn't look like Jove is inclined to build anything just yet, so he's going to use it as gun fodder. He's just going to move up, be able to spot whatever's coming, and sacrifice it there. It will provide some heavy cover there for his enemies, so it's not, you know, without its drawbacks, but, well, there you go. Yeah, there's a heavy cover available, and that allows the troops to move up and use that heavy cover. So keep that in mind when you're sacrificing your vehicles. I mean, if you're going to be using it just at the front to draw fire and spot, just make sure it keeps on going. Put that heavy cover a little bit further back where it's not going to benefit the enemy as he engages you. So, you know, think about it. Volkskrans once again in their trenches. Yak Panzer at range, getting shots off on that IS-2. IS-2 getting shot again by Shreks. Takes some damage, but second IS-2 moves into the zone. This Yak Panzer needs to move up next to the other one, be able to combine their forces, their efforts, and get the damage in there. Shreks and shots from the Yak Panzer do fly, getting a lot of damage there on those IS-2s. Getting penetrations in the frontal armor and doing a lot of work. The AT gun is right at the range and not able to provide too much. Rakuten Warfare also covering the front. So Job has dug himself quite successfully in here, and he's proving quite a thorn on Quentin's side to be able to pull out. Maxim machine gun does not manage to stop the cap of the center point. Victory point is down to 89 for Quentin. He is, again, like I mentioned most of the times, running out of time. Jove sits at 424 points, so he has all the time in the world right now. IS-2's not managing to do too much. I mean, we have 9 kills on one and 3 kills on the other. I mean, combined between them, that's not too much. Also, it looks like Job has gotten himself so many things, so many troops, so many units, that it kind of broke my overlay. I apologize for that. I'll point out the broken right there. It's now gone. But, well, I mean, I can only do as much as possible. I mean, there's only so much I can do there, guys. Sorry. Shots fly from the IS-2. They eliminate a retreating squad. That looks like it was a Volkskrans squad on the retreat. Oh, yeah. I forgot. There we go. Sorry about that. I noticed it was a little bit off timing, but there we go. So there we go. The AT guns utilized for their indirect fire, managing to inflict decent amount of damage in there, manages to decrew the Maxim machine gun and such. Does get recovered and such, but that is what I mean about getting some indirect fire. That is why Job got himself some indirect fire, to be able to retaliate to that. But yeah, I mean, a mortar for Quentin wouldn't have been a bad idea a while ago. Could have started racking up a lot of kills, especially since you know where they're going to be retreating to, and in an engagement, you know, they can still get some stuff, but well, whatever. So 89 points are left for Quentin. He is currently bleeding those points against Job. Job down to 410. He'll bleed a little bit more before he decaps that center point. But I mean, again, Quentin doing a lot of work, but running out of time. Jag Panzer on the right-hand side. I mean, so far it's worked out. I mean, it hasn't done too much, but just having one in the center has worked out quite well. I mean, he sees he has 3 veterans. See, so let's see. Cautious movement ability, which makes Yak Panzer harder to detect. Veteran tanks receive armored skirts and improved optics, improving durability and sighting. Nice. And then it says cruise operate vehicle with greater efficiency, greater mobility, and rate of fire. So awesome. And it's cloaked right now. Cautious movement unit is hidden but moves slowly. So yeah, I mean that makes it so it can't be seen, and it's only gonna reveal itself when it shoots at the tanks. So right now, I mean that is one of the great things about this. It allows you to, do that. I mean, again, that's another thing that that works very well with this. I mean, for example, the AT gun for the Soviets, you can cloak your AT gun and then order it to only attack vehicles, so you can keep it under cloak rather than it just shooting at infantry as it sees it and revealing itself. I mean, again, yes, you sometimes want it shooting at infantry and such, and you'll use your artillery barrage to reveal itself, but I mean, again, it's a nice option to have, so I don't know why I keep mentioning it, because I think it's pretty clear, but I like the fact that they integrated the prioritized target. I only hope, though, that they had actually made it so it showed a different icon. MG-34 in the center, trying to stop the approaching infantry. Volksgrens in their trenches, trying also as well to hold the line as much as they can. Infantry support gun doing a lot of work already. Well, not already, but 3 kills to its name. Shots fly over here to the, well, it's actually on the right-hand side to the combat engineers. Flamethrowers are going off into the trench. Shots from the trench are going off at the combat engineers. The combat engineers will die eventually. Shots flying into the center. Actually impacts itself directly on the weapon, and we see a KV-8 getting called in for Job. I mean, not Job, for Quentin. Sorry, I just keep looking at Job, so I'm thinking of him. And, yeah, I mean, he's amassing a supreme force here of heavy tanks. I mean, 2 IS-2s and a KV-8. That is a strong enough force to roll through anything at any time, any place. So, again, apologies for the broken overlay, but again, it's only so much I can do. But you get the idea. He has a shit ton of stuff. Volksgrens in the center are pinned down, unable to throw shots at the KV-8. The KV-8 pushes forward with its flamethrowers. Treks flying its direction. The Yak Panzer needs to move back down. It does move down, and it is a little bit too late, though. It needs to turn its sights and get itself right on top of those IS-2. The IS-2 is getting itself behind the Yak Panzer. The Yak Panzer manages to squeeze itself in between the infantry and get itself past the trucks. There is a mechanized regiment headquarters on the field, which is able to repair, but it won't repair right now. It needs something else. The IS-2s are right on top of all the infantry, and the infantry does have Shreks. There is one in the trench. There's a second squad. No, nowhere to be seen, actually. Shots from the Yak Tigers, just bouncing off the frontal armor of that IS-2. The IS-2 is doing a lot of damage there to the troops of Job. Job trying to hold strong. He does get some nice shots there on the rear armor of that IS-2. IS-2 now getting focus fires by the Yak Tigers. The Yak Tigers managed to inflict a lot of damage and take it down. Second Yak Tiger is turning itself around to face the IS-2. IS-2 should be able to get a shot off on the rear armor of it. Only ends up impacting on the infantry. And now the Yak Panzers are in hot pursuit of the IS-2. The IS-2 is in a lot of trouble. The conscripts may be able to get an 18-8 off on that Yak Panzer and finish it off. The IS-2 getting a lot of damage in there on that Yak Panzer. The Yak Panzer still chasing. The other one is caught back in the base. This is a very risky maneuver here by Job, and he actually pays the price for it. The Yak Panzer goes down while the IS-2 remains on the field. Volksgrenadiers are pushing up. They do have Shreks equipped. Shot flies, gets through the IS-2, and manages to score the win in that engagement there. Heavy losses there for Job, but heavier losses, I believe, here for Quentin. He has lost his armada. KV-8 and IS-2s go down. We also see a strafing run right on top of everything. The Maxim machine gun getting almost cleared out, forced to retreat. And a Fallschirmjäger squad drops in behind the retreating squad, eliminates it, and it could actually just go for the steal of the point. Fallschirmjägers trying to stop the approaching conscripts and shock troops. They need to retreat. They do throw a grenade in their path. Nice bundle grenade in front. Kills one guy and splash damages the rest. But they do need to retreat. These squads are very good at fighting. You don't want to lose them, but it looks like he's going to lose them. And the Maxim machine gun does get recovered by Quentin. He did not want to lose that, so that's fine. Scavenging operations going down on the Yak Panzer. They got left in the front. The Volkskrantz. What happened there? Did a plane crash? Yeah, sorry about all that movement. You're probably throwing up now. I heard something crash. I think maybe right here a plane crash, but it doesn't look like. I don't know. It's weird. Infantry for Quentin pushing up. I mean, there's nothing much else that they can do. We still have 3 MGs on the field for Job. He is sitting comfortable. 64 points are left for Quentin, and he's currently in the wrong side of a double cap. MG34 up in the north covering that point as it captured it. And we have Maxim machine gun covering the left-hand side flank. MG34 covering the center point, and we have only infantry on the field for Quentin. He builds himself another Maxim machine gun, trying to utilize that to break. He gets another KVA to try to break through, but there was still a surviving Yak Panzer on the field for Jove, and it's actually the Veterancy 3 one, so yeah, I mean, that KVA doesn't really stand too much of a chance of doing anything at all, but we'll see. Never give up, never surrender, right? Infantry support gun recruit as it got cleared out in that massive engagement. Has 2 kills to its name. Shots continue to fly. Conscripts are in its line of sight, but they don't manage to do too much. The Fallschirmjägers do end up having to retreat. Volkskrantz as well. We do have a trench on the field. The trench is going to get a garrison there by those Volkskrantz. We have the trench on the left-hand side also open. The Volkskrantz pop in as well, and that allows them to just have so much power. Yak Panzer putting itself into the center, gets some shots off on that KVA. KVA taking a shot to the front, forced to back off. The trench does get abandoned as the KVA throws fire in it, so they decide not to cook themselves alive. Center point, Quentin losing a conscript squad on the retreat. An unfortunate loss that he probably cannot really afford at this point anymore. So I think that's it. I don't see him being able to do too much. I mean, Job just has so much stuff on the field, and Quentin just keeps on losing it. The KV-8 is really unable to do too much. I mean, we still have 3 Shrek-equipped Volkskrantz plus a Yak Panzer. And it got Veterancy 4, which improves the rate of fire and accuracy of the main gun, so just makes it even deadlier and even better. Repairs going off on the headquartered trucks. We do see a half-track back there. Again, I mean, at these stages, if you're not going to be building anything, I mean, it's a fine idea. You just send the half-track up to the front. I mean, Job is moving it right now, so maybe that's exactly what he's thinking. I mean, it's essentially a free scout that you don't mind losing, so it, you know, keeps building itself. So 180 seconds from now, it'll do something else. So, you know, at that point with another flying tree, where is it going? Where's the tree? Where's the tree? Ah, I missed the tree. Flew, but who knows where? Somewhere. Sandbags getting laid down for Quentin. Looks like he's trying to set up for one last push. I honestly don't see it accomplishing too much at this stage in the game. Maxim machine gun moving over to the left-hand side, recapturing a lot of territory. Job now feeling quite confident to be able to just simply do stuff. He actually goes ahead and builds the Schwerpanzer headquarters over on the right-hand side to cover that flank a little bit easier. Easier. AT gun sets up in the center. KVA is going to push forward, going to run straight into that. The Yak Panzer and the Shreks of everything. Shots fly. The Maxim machine gun down to 1 man. 17 points are left for Quentin. Shots continue to fly from the Yak Panzer. The KV-8 takes a massive beating there. Oh, gets sniped at the end there by the Yak Panzer. Yak Panzer feeling very good. Down to 14 points, no more infantry left, really. The conscripts in the center get eliminated. Incendiary barrage, just as a last screw you. GG goes out by Quentin, you know, because he knows. And that is probably game. Upper left 90-degree angle, upper left 90-degree angle by Jove. And retreating. What mean RR? He's saying spoilers, GG. So yeah, nothing gonna happen here. It's just the talking before the points played out. So yeah, I mean, that battle group headquarters right at the front proved to be too much for Quentin to be able to deal with. I feel some type of indirect fire earlier on may have helped him off a little bit more, rather than just the sledgehammer approach and trying to break through the center, which Jove was very easily able to hold because of the battle group headquarters. So yeah, I mean, he had a shot there when he, pushed all the way past here on top of with the KV-8, but Jove did an excellent job of just holding and playing ring around the battle group headquarters. He needed to push with extra infantry there, and also the KV-8 to be able to break it there, but well, didn't happen. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.